Content. Content is my favorite step. It's the fun part where we load the details into the steps of a process and press play. This provides the how-to information for the way to complete the task, which a process supports. We can get creative here and use short videos, pictures, and images, together with text explainers and audio to communicate our message. Content is very important. Without it, a process cannot be followed and just remains a series of steps we know need to be done, but we just don't know how to do them. Makes sense, right? Now, before you start writing War and Peace or putting on your Spielberg director's cap, there are some important fundamentals to understand when it comes to content. Content is communication. And of course, who is the communication for? The audience, right? So although the outward communication you prepare may work for you, it may not always work for the audience. This is where NextGile can support you with what you must consider to make your communication a winning one. There are 2 key steps you must consider in NextGile thinking when preparing content to effectively communicate steps in a process. 1 is the hierarchy of content, and 2 is the learning styles of your audience. Part 1. The hierarchy of content. Let's look at the hierarchy of content. The hierarchy of content diagram shown here will assist. It's basically a pyramid of layers, starting with what you must first consider at the top, then working through formal considerations at the second layer, then finally the content considerations on the third or bottom layer, which provides the how-to information. To clearly explain this, let's use an example. We are putting together a process called a delivery to a client. That's the title for our process. The first step in the process is called arrival at client location. That will be the name of the step given at the top of the pyramid. Next, we consider the rules of the game, so to speak, in the middle layer. What are the safety, compliance, or policy considerations we must cover before we even think about taking any action? In this example, we decide to make a checklist. The checklist makes sure the delivery driver considers, are you parked safely? Are there any forklifts or vehicles around to be careful of? Are you wearing your high-visibility workwear? Have you reported to on-site security? Are you well-groomed and presentable for the client? You can add any compliance documents to support these points. If the formal considerations on the checklist are all yes, then the content for the how-to information is next. In this example, we provide a 3-minute situational demonstration video showing a typical arrival taking place. We show how to arrive safely and respectfully, how to complete your checklist, how to present yourself, and then how to greet the client. The combined steps together complete the process of a delivery to a client. This information covers the first step in the process very effectively and very simply. We would then go on to the next steps in the process, covering handling of goods, the handover, the inspection, and then the sign-off and reporting. Each step will contain its own formal considerations and how-to content. Once a process is built in this way, and the content clearly demonstrates the steps to carry out the task, this is then the training, learning, and reference piece, and a firm and stable datum point. It's the recipe, which provides a high level of client appreciation and minimizes variation, which leads to quality. It is also the fixed piece, which can forevermore be measured and challenged for change, improvement, and innovation to advance the business. Constantly moving forward to deliver excellence in customer experience advances your business or the businesses you support. This cannot happen effectively without first capturing the current state using processes. You must capture the recipes to know what to change to improve them, right? The same applies here. Process improvement is key, and the change and improvement to content helps to deliver this. So as we mentioned earlier, there are 2 key steps you must consider in NextGile thinking when preparing content to effectively communicate steps in a process. We have covered the hierarchy content, and now we will look at the learning styles of your audience. Part 2. Learning styles. Understand there are 4 styles of learning your audience has a preference for. They all like to receive information in different ways. Some like to see it, some like to listen to it, some like to experience it, and some like to read it and process it themselves. So remember, we must consider these 4 learning styles when preparing our communication: visual, seeing the information; auditory, hearing the information; kinesthetic, experiencing the information; digital, reading and interpreting the information. Knowing which mediums to use to communicate effectively gives you far greater engagement and results with your audience. Although statistics in this area of research do vary, the accepted statistics on how people like to receive information and in turn communicate are 60% visual, 20% kinesthetic, 15% auditory, 5% digital. Digital, which is essentially reading and interpreting the information, barely registers a blip on these statistics. Auditory or listening to instructions is the next lowest preferred learning style. So consider this. Most instructions within a business are verbal or written, right? Yet almost everyone would like to receive information in a different way. So then, how effective is written instructions if nobody really wants to read them, or if they are not great at listening? Isn't this interesting? The most powerful learning medium, and the one which fits all learning styles, is video. This is evidenced by the YouTube phenomenon and huge shifts to video chat and video sharing in social media. NextStyle thinking encourages video to be used as the primary communication piece, as it has such a powerful reach across all learning styles. Videos provide visual learning with auditory commentary, showing kinesthetic content, and can contain written subtitle text or accompanying documents. This medium covers all learning styles perfectly. Short information videos are the most sought-after way to discover how to do something. As the saying goes, a picture speaks 1,000 words. What then does a video speak? It is so much more powerful than a single picture. What's more, they are so quick and easy to produce. Videos will literally save you having to write pages upon pages of information your audience will never want to read anyway. They will, however, watch your short video and learn much more from them. However, be careful not to create videos which are longer than 5 minutes. Typically aim for 2 to 3 minutes if you can, or create a series of shorter videos to address a single topic in parts. In the context of a process, a person needs the ability to look through the steps in a process, to quickly find the piece they need without having to wade through lengthy videos to do so. Keep the video precise and to the point, and based on one topic only. You have 2 options for video creation. Number 1, screen capture videos. This is where you record what's on your computer screen and talk people through instructions. This is perfect to show how to use software, documents, and forms. We recommend you install screen capture software, such as Snagit or Jing, from the TechSmith product suite. Number 2, situational videos. These videos are where a real-life situation is being demonstrated. The subject matter must be showing a task being done, so role-play or reenactment is critical. Simply presenting yourself like a newsreader to the camera without demonstrating anything serves no value here. The task in question must be demonstrated in detail. For both video options, you can always check first to consider what has already been produced and available from other sources. Software providers and trainers may already have videos available for you to use to avoid having to reinvent the wheel. Always ensure you have the permission of the person who produced the video, however, before you use any of these for your own purposes. So you can see, we are big on videos as a powerful way to demonstrate how to perform steps within a process. But there are other elements you must consider in your communications. You can produce written procedural documents, which you must sometimes include in a process to meet compliance and industry standards, which may be imposed on a task. You can also create a map or flowchart to show a process, its steps, or any element a team member must follow. Visual aids such as pictures, photos, and diagrams are also effective communication pieces to add to steps in a process. Plans and design documents can also support here. Tools and checklists can also accompany steps in a process, be it in the formal considerations layer or the how-to layer. Checklists may be analog or digital. Tools may also be analog or digital, meaning they could be a physical device recommended for a toolkit, or software application used as a tool to complete a task. Creating the right content to support steps in a process is vitally important. It must be simple and concise, with waste removed, but also detailed and descriptive enough to ensure the recipient can understand well and complete the task. You will improve with practice, but always test the content you produce and have a team member follow the instructions very literally. Test to see the team member arrives at the intended outcome, and if not, make refinements until they do. Once you launch content to support a process into the business for team members to follow, it is then time to monitor and ask for feedback and suggestions from the team. The particular process may also be one which is included in measured areas for which you seek client feedback and rating too. Remember, the content you produce and processes you launch are only ever current state. They are the how-to information right now. Always expect that processes will evolve and change, and this is the way by which the business will advance and continue to thrive in a stable and predictable manner. Please now refer to the examples of content within process steps. We have provided it for you in your courseware. It's vital you understand this, and that you can produce this type of content to support a business with NextGile thinking.